I've had this gray box sitting in my living room for about a week and a half. Yeah, the Chicago suburb weather has prevented me from opening it because I would just want to take it out and play with it. I know that sounds wrong, but it's true. So let's go ahead and open it and see what this is all about. So what did I buy? I bought the Mavic Mini from DJI. Oh man, my very first drone. I really cannot wait to get this in the air. Hopefully I made the right choice here. It just looks absolutely amazing. It's like a kid on Christmas Day. Let's get this thing unboxed. The DJI Mavic Mini comes in two versions. You got the basic kit and you got the Fly More kit. I opted for the Fly More kit because it has this nice carrying case. It comes with two extra batteries, the battery bank, and prop guards. So I really think it's a great deal. And for me, being on crutches, I'm always looking for an easy way to carry something, and this just fit the bill. So it's $100 more, and I think you get a lot for the price. I think it's a good idea to put these desiccant packets in your case. That way, prevents the moisture. All right, let's get everything unpacked. I'm really not going to use these prop guards because first off, it adds weight, and then now you're at over 249 grams when you use it. So that means you basically have to register it then. And plus, you know what, I heard that they just really weigh down the drone, and your battery performance drops significantly. So we won't be using these. So we have our battery bank here, and I'm going to just go ahead and slide all these in. And let's see how much power this has. You should be able to just hit the power button. Completely dead. So what we're going to do is go ahead and use their charger, and we're going to give it a nice little charge. Now these do only charge one at a time, so you'll have to be patient. And plug it in there, and go ahead and plug it into the wall. And we have one of them charging. Since I have an iPhone, I will be using the Lightning cable. Along with the Lightning, you have micro USB and USB-C cables. So it covers all three. And here's your controller. Now we're just going to pull the arms out from the bottom. This is where you place your phone. I haven't heard any complaints about phones falling out. It's supposed to grip it pretty darn well. Pretty cool. Underneath is where the joysticks are housed, and you just simply pop them out and screw them in. It only takes like 1.5 turns to get them in, so yeah. You may want to make sure they're nice and snug. On the top shoulder, you have your gimbal control up and down, your record button, and then to the left is your home, return to home. I mean, I've never flown one, so be a new experience for me. And these antennas only fold and turn a certain amount. And let's hit the power. We're going to need to charge this one up as well. Since it only gives you one charging brick, you could charge off the battery pack right here, but I am going to just use another brick that I already have. Okay, so with this micro USB, the hole is like symmetrical all around, so you need to be really careful. It's not keyed, that you actually plug it in the correct way. So definitely do not force it in. Here you get 3 sets of props and screws. These screws have Loctite on them, so when you take these screws off, you're going to use these because once you take these screws off, they're basically garbage because they're, you know, the Loctite comes off. You get a screwdriver. And you get some extra joysticks. Wow, this thing is light. Okay, let's go ahead and remove these little stickers that are holding the propellers in place. So you open it, these 2 front arms swing out, and then these come out like this. And this just tells you how to open up the cover. And you got the gimbal guard. And there's your 3-axis gimbal. You got your standoffs for back here. So you could charge it from the back. And here's your micro SD. And this cover is very flimsy. Just feels like it's going to pop right off. Hopefully when the battery's in there, it'll be a little bit more secure. Here's your sensors for height, power. Doesn't have any forward collision or sides. So, all right, let's charge this thing up. As you see, we got some time, and we'll take it out for its maiden voyage. So again, my first drone, and we'll see how well it goes. Now that we have everything charged, let's see how you put the phone in. So let's go ahead and unplug it. You use the same connection. Let's see if we can focus on it. As I mentioned before, that yeah, this is not keyed, so it could you could easily transverse the cable. See, most cables are keyed, right? Except for like USB-C. So yeah, and now we look at that. As you can see, you easily get that messed up. So you need to be careful when plugging in. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to be using the iPhone, And to know that you have this correctly plugged in is that the DJI logo, the DJI logo will be up on top here. Okay. So you're going to pull these out. Take out your little joysticks, right? Then you're going to plug in your phone. Like that, and then squeeze it. And it's really not going anywhere. Now, the biggest problem I have so far with this is this. Look at this cable. This is an iPhone X. And yeah, it's honestly, they really need to make this a little bit longer. And this, I mean, iPhone X, this is actually a pretty small phone for today's standards. So to turn it on, I'm just gonna press once and press again for 3 seconds. You got the beep. All right, and I heard the phone beep. And let's see if it opens the app automatically. I set my phone to airplane mode also. Nope. I was kind of hoping that it would open up automatically. So this actually runs through a tutorial. You know, it's you don't really have to pay attention to me. I mean, it goes through everything. So let's go ahead and close it. Now that we have our controller hooked up or turned on, let's go ahead and get a battery. And do this, you just push on this tab and it just slides out. So let's go ahead and insert an SD card while we're here. And I just dropped the SD card in the hole. All right, slide it in. And let's go ahead and put in a battery. Again, it's keyed, so you can see your connections right there. And then right there. Slide it in, snap, and then snap. Let's open this thing up. And let's take out the gimbal guard. If I didn't mention, this is a 2.7K camera. And to power on the drone, same process, one press, and then a 3-second press. And the gimbal is moving, and you have your status lights underneath. Once everything is connected and turned on, one of the first things that's going to happen is it's going to check for a firmware update. And you want to make sure that all your data on your phone is turned on, because this is how it's going to transmit it to the drone. So also you want to make sure that your battery is fully charged, because this process could take about 25 to 30 minutes for the whole update to complete. So let's go ahead and get this updated and get ready for our first flight. Once the firmware is complete, the little box will disappear and your camera and all the controls will turn on automatically. Let's go ahead and get this powered off so we can take it out for its maiden voyage. You do a calibrate the compass. This is something that's suggested to do when you first take the drone out and actually walk you through it. So right now we're going to just rotate the aircraft. Then turn it upside down, or on its back. And that's it. So just doing it outdoors. I'm going to do it outdoors as well. And say that you're done, you just reverse to turn it off. These go underneath, these little clips, like that. Be sure don't crush your gimbal. And snap it in. Now I just can't wait. Time for its first flight. I've been waiting on some decent weather where it's not too windy, it's not raining, and today is just a lot of overcast, but at least I could take it out for its maiden voyage. Bear's just trotting along right there, and sometimes he'll sneak off. He'll just actually go back to the house. So it's just empty parking lot for the commuter rail right now. Usually there's, maybe about 24 cars during the week here, and actually you can see that's the metro line by our house. I was really wanting to fly over and get an aerial shot. Maybe I'll do that in one of my next videos, but yeah, power lines, trees, trains, poles, houses. Yeah, I would not suggest doing this for your first flight. I would go into open area, but it's always kind of interesting to see views from around your own house. I've always wanted to see what the sound wall looks like. There's always graffiti on the other side, so since I can't, crutch around back there. Yep, and there's some graffiti right there. But yeah, it's just amazing. You just never realize perspective that you have here. Crossed over this bridge hundreds of times, coming to and from work, and it's still kind of nerve-wracking when you're flying this for the first time. I don't want to go across the street or anything, so just inching my way up, and I just amazed. This has, again, no obstacle avoidance or anything, and it's just so stable. I'm using basically all the default settings right now for the camera. This is 1080p, and it's just let me just keep on going here and just enjoy. Right now I'm going to just test the auto home and landing. I know I'm already close to where I first started, but figure, why not?
Go home. Landing.
Wow, I'm pretty impressed with this. Just landed within a couple feet where I originally took off, and I had the old bear there. He's really interested in this drone. So next what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a distance parade. We're going to record one. This is for all the graduates and birthdays for this week. So people just go ahead and, dress up their cars a little bit and parade down the streets in their cars. Pretty cool and fun. So I figured this would be a good way to see how stable the drone is just in the air without moving any of the sticks. Oh, I'm very impressed with how stable this is, and you can see the wind blowing through the trees. It stayed put. So now we're going to an airstrip. RC airplane and helicopter airstrip. Yeah, I was getting a little greedy here, and you can actually see the rains coming down. You could see it just streaking across the lens. So I'm sitting trying to make an emergency landing. I've only landed this thing about 3 times so far, and I'm trying to land it on the helipad that I have here. Because the grass is a little long and I don't want any damage to happen. So finally get it down, and now it's trying to beeline to the car. So. Okay, so now when we got into the car, we'll come here tomorrow. All right, tomorrow was definitely a better day. Look at how nice it is out here. But this airstrip is busy, and it's pretty nerve-wracking here with all the planes and helicopters that are here. And I definitely have the smallest aircraft, and I just don't. It's my first time here, so I have no idea if anyone really pays attention to other aircraft out there. I read the rules and everything. There's nothing with how much equipment could be out on the field at one time. So I'm just going to be very cautious here, and let's see how it goes. So as I'm flying around, I was getting ready to do a pan shot of all these aircraft. I get a shoulder tap on my right shoulder from this guy that's now standing next to me. I said, "Oh, what did I do wrong?" I said, "Oh, no, I'm just interested in your drone." I said, "Really? I have all the aircraft here that is." Oh, I was pretty impressed that he was uh, willing to take a look at it, and so he was mentioning that he's a body drone, and he thought that he got the correct one for beginners, and it wound up being a sports drone. So basically, this video is now has gone a little bit differently than I wanted it to, because now I'm showing him a drone that I have very little experience with. So I apologize ahead of time, but let's go ahead and continue on.
Landing.
Here's a pan of all the impressive aircraft that are here. It was just amazing to see all these aircraft that were taken to the skies. This is 400 feet up. It's just, again, this just amazes me that you can get this type of quality of footage. This is at 2.7K at 24 frames a second. I'm just doing a slow pan, as slow as I can. Don't judge me too much. I'm new at this, so it's just amazing. This is not too far from my house. To the regulations and where I could only be at on this airstrip, I could do only one of these quick shots. So let's go ahead and see how it works. You just highlight your subject and then you go.
3, 2, 1.
Let's get the last shot of airplane taking off, and now let's head to another park. This park is not too far from my house, and has some breathtaking views for a suburbanite area. Did not even know that these paths existed in this lake. Yes, I am flying over water and trees and definitely doing some risk taking, but I'm keeping the drone in line of sight, so let's see how this looks. Again, this is recorded in 2.7K and with the auto settings for the camera. This park is known as Mallard Creek. This is one of the parks in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and this long hill right here used to be one of the biggest landfills in the northwest suburbs. It went out and decommissioned a couple decades ago and has now been converted into this park. You'll never know by looking at it. Okay, so I bought my first drone. Was it money worth spent? Is the wife going to approve of my purchase? Am I going to be on the next episode of Forensic Files? Is this the perfect drone for beginners? Well, I can answer most of those questions, but I know I'm not going to be on the next episode of Forensic Files, so that's a good thing. As for money well spent, yes, I do believe it's money well spent on this drone, for me at least. Is it the perfect drone for beginners? Now, I have a real tough time with anyone that recommends any product for first-time people, okay? Especially when it comes to with something with technology, because there's so many options out there in this industry that I cannot say with confidence that this is the best drone for beginners because first, I don't know your price point. Second, I have no idea what features you're looking for. All I can tell you is that I'm very happy with my purchase. Sure, this thing was sitting in a box for a week and a half due to the crummy Chicago weather that I had here. So I left it in a box, and then my first maiden voyage was right next door. Yes, I would suggest that you do not do this yourself. Make sure you have open land because I had trees, I had poles, I had electrical lines, trains, houses, yes. And go make sure that you have a nice open area for your first flight. Make sure conditions are right. Wind under, around 5 miles an hour or under is great. And also check with your local and state laws. Make sure that you're able to fly. Just because this drone is under 250 grams does not mean that you're authorized to fly in every area. Okay, that's just my little disclaimer. So, what was I looking for in a drone? Well, I was looking at brushless motors. I was looking at a quality camera with a 3-axis gimbal that I could also control by remote. I was looking for a stable flight. I was looking for GPS. I was looking for a single interruption or loss of signal that would return to home automatically. Those were the key features I was looking for in my price point. Okay? So, yes, it has a great camera at 2.7K definition camera at 30 frames per second, 25 and 24. It also does 1080p at 60 frames per second. So, yes. And plus, also what I was looking for is onboard, that records onboard. And I was specifically looking for external media. Some people want it to have its own storage on there with an available option to maybe have external media. I don't think there's one that has both, but it could be wrong. So a lot of people are going to say, wow, it's light, feels cheap. Listen to that plastic. Well, last time I checked, you don't listen to plastic. And they're going to do this. They twist the legs and say, wow, look at that flex. And oh, what's this behind here? It's like some type of foam or gasket material. Well, you know what? It's light for a reason. And there was aiming for a specific category of drone, the under 250 gram limit. You add any accessory on here, guess what? You're over that 259 gram limit and you need to register it. That's just the way it is. So you put those prop guards on here, you fly outdoors, technically you're over. So yes, I am absolutely happy with my purchase. I think I just love flying it. I think that just seeing up there in the sky and being able to view a different perspective that you're just not used to, okay? It's amazing. And, I did a couple other shots. I did that long, the distance parade for graduation and birthdays that was at my niece's house. Thought that was pretty cool. It just stayed in the spot. The next flights I flew over water. You know what? I figured, hey, you know what? If it crashes, it crashes. What am I going to do, right? The only thing I can do is pay attention to the battery. And then I flew at at a local forest preserve where it had a RC aircraft area. And I'm telling you, that out of all the places, that was the most nerve-wracking because I pay attention to my vehicle and other vehicles around me. People are not so much. They focus on their flight path, and that is it. So when there was up to like 6 airplanes in the air, I would hover down or even bring the drone in until there was one or less than 2 aircraft in the air. Then I was confident that I was out of their range or they were going to pay attention to their surroundings. So now, of course, there's always rooms for improvement, okay? I have 2 things that I did not find that I found that could be improved upon. First off, it's very simple. I think these cables, the data cables going from the remote to your phone are too darn short, okay? It's not like, in comparison to today's standards, this is the iPhone X. There's phones that are bigger than this. And this, just the reach was, it was really taut. I can't imagine what other people are going through with bigger phones. It just, you know what? Give us an option. Buy longer cords, and plus, I do not like the fact that, second thing is, micro USB is not keyed. That should be keyed, so it can only fit one way. Okay, that really needs to be improved on. Okay, it's a pretty simple fix, guys. Come on. Third, it's just a software thing. Okay, to me, I think the battery is very important. Sure, you get notified when you hit the 20%, you get battery low. But I'd like to have that icon just a different color, maybe a little bit bigger. I know you could click on it and it'll show you more stats on everything, but honestly, you get lost in a moment, and I really think that that should be a little bit different, a little bit bigger, and just, just so it pops a little bit more on the display. Technically, though, you should be line of sight, and that once you hear that battery, you should be able to, the warning, you should be able to return immediately with plenty of juice left over. Of course, you don't want to run these batteries down to nothing. So, honestly, those are the only three things I really see wrong with it, especially for the price point. Okay, you're not going to get a better quality drone, in my opinion. If you think that you could get a better drone at $399 or less, it has a 3-axis gimbal, great video quality, GPS, and all the features that this has, let me know. Comment below. Maybe I just didn't research properly, but maybe I'll even buy it and review it and compare it. So definitely comment below. I really appreciate you tuning in to this video, this review, and my first drone experience. So if you could please like and subscribe, that'd be great. I really appreciate you tuning in, watching this. So you guys have a great, and gals, have a great night, weekend, day, whenever you choose to decide to watch this video. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time on Tripod's Garage.